All right. Hello, everyone. For my local exploration project, I went very local and not much exploration. I feel bad. It's almost I cheated a little. So I simply walked around the corner of my office and I visited St. Ignatius Loyola School, the church in the Upper East Side. I worked on the block next to it. I mean, the same block actually, historically. So, um, what does St. Ignatius Loyola, what does St. Ignatius Loyola Church has to do with um, LGBTQ queer theology and all this? I'm sorry. Well, St. Ignatius Loyola Church is one of the 12 church in the NYC area who is considered LGBTQ friendly, who has a ministry of outreach, I'm sorry, to members of the LGBTQ community. There's an article in the New York Times about it. You have prominent churches like St. Francis Xavier, another Jesuit church in Chelsea. You have St. Paul the Apostle, which is right on the across the street from Lincoln Center, right? And then you have St. Ignatius Loyola Church in the Upper East Side. Um, what is particularly interesting about St. Ignatius Loyola Church is that Father James Martin of the Society of Jesus preaches there often. He's one of the, he's not the rector, but he's not one of the priests who perform homilies quite often, and also has his LGBTQ ministry there. I had the pleasure, the honor of meeting Father Martin a few times. He's quite a young, a wonderful, wonderful man. He actually lives in the Jesuit residence also across, next to St. Paul the Apostle, which is across Lincoln, the campus, Lincoln Center campus of Fordham University. So, what was interesting when I listened to Father Martin was, Father Martin had been in the middle of a controversy when he retweeted a tweet from a Black woman theologian, I believe queer also, where she addressed God as her. And, there was, very, very strong reaction about God, always been, featured male, how dare you? It made me rethink Dr. Hayward's words in this book that we read when she tries to intentionally attribute a female gender to God and female gender to the power of the erotic power and all that. Father Martin is a very strong advocate for the LGBTQ community. He believes that love is love no matter what. And this is why, in American Magazine, he wrote an article about the fact that God is not a man, but not a woman neither, that the concept of God should be beyond gender, and that God is a powerful force that reach out to everyone regardless. And I believe as the LGBTQ community is as let me rephrase that. I was about to say something that did not sit right. As the concept of gender is being questioned more and more, and then there's more and more fluidity, I think it becomes important also maybe for us to look at God as a fluid, genderless entity that sent Jesus as a man, as a male, to earth, but God should not be defined and should not be confined actually by gender. So if I have something with this book, of course, this book was written in 1989, so a long time ago. I remember I was in fourth grade, so long time ago. So that was groundbreaking at the time, but now I find sometimes like it's a bit behind. I mean, not of Miss Hayward's fault. I mean, but I'm sure her views have also uh, evolved with time. So you know, I, I truly believe that the fact that if we, as Father Martin was saying in his article, that God is genderless, and it helps us stop confining God into a false debate of gender. You know, so I truly believe that, and that's probably the connection that this homily from Father Martin, this connection between the homily and or the reading of last week. I truly enjoy listening to him. I truly commend not only the Jesuits in general, but the Church of St. Ignatius of Loyola, especially being in the Upper East Side, to really care for the LGBTQ community and advocate for their right to be in the church and their right to sit in the pews and to receive God's grace as everyone else should, if they choose to. I often see Father Martin on social media going in participating in vigorous debate with other priests, and it kind of connects me to also some of the other readings we've done last week about the Catholic Church reaction to the LGBTQ, and I realize how there is a divide and almost a schism that's about to happen in the Catholic Church. You have in the United States, you have a powerful group of bishops, right? The U.S. BBC, one of the name are. United Bishop and Conference, something like that, who consist of, very powerful bishop, most of them appointed by John Paul II. So they've been here for a while. I find those bishops being pushed more by influence and political power, more than, stuck on dogma more than the pastoral side of Catholicism. I find them to use that, to use issues like abortion, and LGBTQ to really further association with political power, which I think is a shame. I think, but there are priests who are advocating for the marginalized, especially in this case being the LGBTQ community, which in my mind aligns more with what Jesus was doing. When the Pharisees asked Jesus, why are you eating with those people? And then Jesus said, I didn't come for you guys, I came for them. I came for those who don't have a voice, for those who've been forgotten by society, who've been pushed aside by society. So, I mean, that's, of course, my personal opinion. But in the theme of staying analytical here, I think there is, a schism happening within the church in America, which is very strange because if you poll North Americans, they are very much in favor, in general, for same-sex marriage. They're very much in favor for same-sex couple to be blessed by the Catholic Church. And the same thing in Europe. There were Catholic priests who were blessing same-sex couple in Germany. Historically, it's like, oh wow, Germany, really? But yeah, Germany seems really the country in Europe was, or actually one of the most progressive countries with their priests in terms of LGBTQ issue. I think it puts the Vatican in a very, very difficult situation. I think the Pope is kind of in a predicament. I think the Pope would very much, I would believe, like to be, more open and open to, and be find ways to be more welcoming to the LGBTQ community. People would say that he's bound to a false dogma, about the scripture saying that, marriage is between a man and a woman, but Pope Francis has wrote many letters to Father Martin encouraging him to continue his ministry. And also he said that famous word that, who am I to judge someone of the LGBTQ community if they're seeking God, right? So I think they were all signs that the Pope wants to do more. But I think the reality is that he understands that, there is a serious decrease in priests, and most of the priests right now are coming from not coming from Europe, not coming from North America. They're coming from South America, they're coming from Africa, they're coming from Asia. And in those parts of the world, acceptance of LGBTQ, inclusion of LGBT community is not there, right? So, I think the Vatican or Pope Francis fears that, by further opening the door to LGBTQ community, that, there might be, a loss in these other continents. So I think I wouldn't envy to be Pope Francis at the moment. I think he has he's in kind of a predicament, and I pray for him and I wish him the best. So those were my thoughts. When I all in my mind when I was at St. Ignatius Solar Church. So this is it. If you have any question always or comments, feel free to reply. Thank you.